Okay, so there's two ways that we can connect ThriveLeads to ActiveCampaign. The first way is to, once you go to your pop-up or whatever you want to connect, in this case it's a lightbox from Thrive Themes, you'll then want to navigate to your form on the page, click on Edit, and then you can once you've connected ActiveCampaign via the API connection, you just simply select ActiveCampaign there. If you need the API details, then you can get those by going to your forms page in ActiveCampaign and then clicking on ActiveCampaign API. And then you simply just copy over your URL and your key, put that into the API connection, and then that will connect ThriveLeads to ActiveCampaign. And now you can send information from Thrive to ActiveCampaign. So once that connection is set up, then you'll be able to pull all the data from ActiveCampaign into your ThriveLeads. Now, if you are adding lists or adding tags or anything like that, I always click on Reload Lists, and that just pushes a request to ActiveCampaign and then pulls all the data from ActiveCampaign, and that just makes sure that any new lists that you've created, etc., they'll be showing up in your list here. So first things first, you always want to push your data to a list. So for this, I would just push it to a general broadcast list or general newsletter list or your master list, whichever it is. Generally the main list of your ActiveCampaign account for that business or company. Then you've got two options. You can then map this pop-up or opt-in to a form, which is the easier and probably the better way to send the information to ActiveCampaign. To do that, you would set up a form in ActiveCampaign, which is very easy to do. You just go to Forms, and then you'd simply create a form here, New Form, and I would name it probably Blog Lightbox, Blog Lightbox or Blog Fertilizer, something like that, so that I can easily identify it. And then I'll just reload the list. That would then load the form in here, and I would select the form that I want to use. Now, how we've got this mapped is that because we're only wanting to subscribe this user to one list, and it's a very simple ActiveCampaign account for this particular business, what we've done is we're just mapping the user to the general broadcast list, and then we're applying the tag directly. Now, if we wanted to apply multiple tags, all we'd need to do is just separate them via a comma and then put in the next tag here. But in this case, we're just applying one tag. Now, keep in mind that your tags are always case sensitive. So whenever I'm copying and pasting in a tag, whenever I'm using a tag, I want to copy and paste it from my tags manager, which is under Contacts, Manage Tags, and here they are. I always want to copy the tag that I want to use from a tags manager. So just simply select it, Control-C, and then paste that into the lightbox. If it doesn't exist in ActiveCampaign, then I always want to add the tag to my tags manager and then copy the tag that I've added and use that in Thrive or wherever else I want to use it. And the reason why I want to do that is because I always want the tag to exist in ActiveCampaign first before I'm using it in a third-party tool. And for Thrive, it doesn't really matter because Thrive will create the tag in ActiveCampaign, but some other third-party tools tend to have a little bit of a buggy connection with ActiveCampaign, and sometimes they create the tag, sometimes they don't create the tag if it doesn't exist in ActiveCampaign. So keep that in mind. I always just like to be very sure and create it in ActiveCampaign first, and then make sure I'm mapping the exact copy of that tag into whatever system I'm using. So once you've set that up, you simply go Continue, do the rest of your form fields. If you're using an ActiveCampaign form, and that's how you're mapping the data to ActiveCampaign, then make sure that you've got the exact same form fields here on the form in the same order that you've got them on the ActiveCampaign form that you're mapping it to. So if you've got the email address and then the first name and then a phone number, make sure on your ActiveCampaign form you've got the email address, first name, phone number on the form. It doesn't matter at all how the form looks because it's purely an internal form between ThriveCart and ActiveCampaign. None of your users are going to see it. No one is ever going to see it unless you open it to edit it, and then you're the only person that will see it. But you just want to make sure that you've got all the form fields that you're requesting information for in Thrive, and you've got those exact fields on your form, so ActiveCampaign can then match the two up and then push the data that it's collected from Thrive to those fields that you've mapped on the form. And it's important that you map the fields on the form in the exact order that they are on your pop-up. So if your pop-up's got email first name, so email field first, first name field second, then your form in ActiveCampaign has to have email field first, first name second. Okay, and the reason why that is because ActiveCampaign gets the information and then it doesn't do any sort of reading of this is the email, therefore it should go to the email field. It just maps it one-to-one. Now, there is an exception to that where with the email and the first name, ActiveCampaign does read those two fields because they're the most common. But if you've got custom fields set up or you might have checkboxes, etc., then those fields ActiveCampaign doesn't do that sort of automated reading with, and you have to make sure you've got them all mapped on your form field. So once you've got all that done, then you simply click on Next, select your option, and then Save. And then down the bottom here, you would just click on Save to update your form. Once that's done, you want to do a test of the form, and you could simply go to your website, test the form out by putting in your email address, and then you want to test in ActiveCampaign that the contact has been sent to ActiveCampaign and that the tag has been applied to the contact if you're applying the tag via Thrive. Or you would go to the forms and then check to see if the form has been submitted, and then you could see who has submitted the form here as well in ActiveCampaign. So if, say, this was the one that we had just set up, here's the contacts with the tag. I'd click on that. That takes us over to the contacts page and then filters also for the contacts that have this tag. And you can see I've tested that myself with my own email. If it was on a form, you would simply do the same thing. Click on the entries, follow up later. Recent contacts, you can see I've tested that here and you can view the contact there. So that's how to connect ThriveLeads to ActiveCampaign and the two different ways that you can connect it. If you need any help connecting Thrive or any other third-party plugin to ActiveCampaign and sending information or troubleshooting your API or webhooks in ActiveCampaign, then feel free to schedule a free call with me and I'll be able to help you sort it out. Hi, I'm Mitch Bayless, and if you're looking for someone to help you with your business automation, then click the button below to schedule your free call today. And if you found this video useful, remember to click like. And also subscribe to our channel for more videos.